Pay close attention. The news you are about to see is fulfilling Bible prophecy.
Welcome to another edition of YPN News, bringing you the news that relates to Bible prophecy and foretold by Yeshua Hawkins. Well, in the news this week, Katan, we see that the bird flu is now becoming the worst ever. USDA is saying it's the worst ever that they've seen. Right. We also have an article on California's drought, showing you some of the effects there. Also, we see North Korea test firing a new missile as they make more preparations for upcoming war. Wow. But first, we're going to start off with looking at the people of Nepal. Now, Nepal was hit by another major earthquake this week. Now, this time a 7.4 magnitude quake. Just 2 weeks ago, the region suffered a 7.8 magnitude quake, which has killed more than 8,000 people. Amazing. Now, the most recent quake was centered in a remote area close to the Chinese border between the capital of Kathmandu and Mount Everest, causing water towers to shake and spill over and tremors across northern India. Now, the earthquake sent an already devastated population rushing into the streets, fearing the collapse of more buildings and homes.
Right. Well, strange weather patterns have been taking place across the United States. Deadly tornadoes, dangerous flooding, early tropical storms, and yes, snow in May. In one day alone, there were at least a dozen tornadoes reported, one touching down in Van, Texas, which injured 43 people and killed 2.
Now, the violent tornado uprooted huge trees, flipped vehicles, and flattened homes and other buildings. Now, 515 structures in total being hit. 212 of those were residential homes, and of those, 90 houses were completely destroyed. Now, it's estimated that this EF3 tornado caused $40 million in damages.
Wow, just 2 away from the EF5. Well, one tornado in Arkansas claimed the lives of 2 people, while the little town of Lake City, Iowa, received only structural damage to homes, businesses, and schools. Probably the closest call in Lake City was when the high school roof was lifted off of as 100 parents and students and teachers took cover in the basement during a banquet awards ceremony. And of course, no injuries were reported there, thankfully.
More severe weather, this time powerful winds in Denton, Texas, tore through the city, and rising floodwaters are causing major damage in Crum, Texas, where the flooding so severe, rescue by land was simply not an option. The National Guard had to airlift many to safety that were stranded in the Russian waters.
Well, I can see the severe weather is keeping a lot of emergency crews very, very busy. Well, South Dakota was slammed with a tornado and a blizzard. A tornado with peak winds of 130 miles per hour touched down in Delmont mid-morning Sunday, destroying or damaging around 30 homes, including the town's brand new fire station, along with the century-old church. The storm knocked out power and water in the area, and at least 9 people were injured.
Well, if the tornado wasn't enough, the western part of the state was hit with a blizzard-like conditions and nearly 2 feet of snow, turning highways dangerously slick. Wow. Now, residents reported that they've never really seen snow in May. Now, those whiteout conditions extended all the way down to Colorado, with snow falling as quickly as 2 to 3 inches an hour, bringing down trees and causing numerous power outages.
Well, millions along the eastern coast got an early taste of the hurricane season as Tropical Storm Anna made landfall along the coast of the Carolinas. Tropical Storm Anna, with wind gusts of up to 50 miles per hour, brought in heavy rains. In some places, up to 6 inches reported, and as Anna slowly moved through the area, it caused some minor flooding as well.
And California recently saw something strange in its weather forecast: rain. But not nearly enough to put a dent in the historic drought sweeping through the state. As California dries up, wild animals have begun roaming the neighborhoods in search of a drink. Now, California black bears have been seen dumpster diving for food as the wild berries that they usually eat are drying up. Complaints about the black bears in garbage cans and near homes have almost doubled in the last year.
Coyotes looking for water have also become a common sight in the most densely packed parts of Los Angeles. Several months ago, a pack of coyotes were caught on a security camera running across a Burbank lawn. One resident, Nick Mendoza, realized he was being hunted as a pack of coyotes chased him while walking his dog.
As the punishing 4-year California drought continues, Californians have been threatened with fines for wasting water. But residents are asking, well, what about the companies who make big profits from bottled water that is, in many cases, taken right from California's taps?
Yeah, sure. Well, Wal-Mart is taking some heat for selling bottled water that comes from the municipal supply of Modesto and Sacramento, California, which are two places hit hard by the punishing drought. Wal-Mart admits that its great value bottled water does in fact come from Sacramento City water supply.
Well, Great Value isn't the only one. Aquafina, Crystal Geyser, Arrowhead, and Dasani also sell bottled water drawn from water supplies in drought-stricken California. However, according to the California Department of Water Resources, bottled water companies use about 2.6 billion gallons of the water supply each year, but that really, Catan, is only a drop in the bucket compared to the 2.4 trillion gallons of water that the city residents use and the 8.6 trillion gallons of water that they use for agriculture.
Wow. Well, billionaire Bill Gates is offering a solution to the water crisis as he drank a glass of water that had been produced from human feces. Gates explained, well, sanitation is very important. It's very important for health. It's very important for quality of living. And the way sanitation is done in richer countries is very expensive. We have piping water in, we make it dirty, and then we pipe it back out, and we do complex processes. That's not likely to be affordable in, say, all of India.
Well, Bill Gates continued, and so if we could take some process and take human waste and get rid of its smell and make sure that it couldn't cause disease, then it would just be like normal garbage and a very low cost that could be removed out of the household.
So just like taking it out with
the trash. Yep.
Well, the process was explained that waste is taken, heated to a high level, which causes the water to evaporate. Next, the liquids are separated from the solids, and finally the water is then distilled and purified and ready to drink. Well, Bill Gates said that all the water we drink has been in lots and lots of different places. The key is it's been purified right before we drink it, and in this plant, it is a very, very pure output, he said.
Wow, still not a pleasant thought.
Yeah, it sure isn't. Well, the concern over the growing number of bird flu cases is on the rise and documented to be the largest yet, with 21 million birds killed by the bird flu or to be euthanized. Also, a state of emergency has been declared in 3 states, Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, but the bird flu has been found in 16 other states, and that's worrying farmers.
Well, the government has agreed to add $330 million to the $84 million that it has already allocated to help cover the farmers' losses. Now, for example, one poultry producer, Aman Bear, has 300,000 chickens, and some of them are sick. He said, I know what a healthy bird looks like, and these look sick. Now, his farm is now under quarantine, and at Sunrise Farms in Iowa, there's a complete lockdown. Now, it's one of the largest egg-producing plants in the nation. Their entire flock will be lost, which includes almost 4 million laying hens, and that's more than 1% of the egg-laying hens in the U.S.
That's an awful lot. Well, USDA Chief Veterinarian Officer Dr. John Clifford said it's pretty serious with the number of cases that we're seeing and continuing to see on a daily basis. The USDA is calling this the biggest outbreak ever, and the disease is spread by the droppings of migrating birds. And of course, any bird or flock of birds that get this, if it's not treated, it can be fatal in as little as 48 hours.
Well, the effects of this epidemic is also affecting the $5 billion export market, which they're now in trouble because several countries, including Mexico, Russia, and over 50 other countries, are refusing the poultry from these infected states.
Too scary. Well, a new report showing that a daily dose of vitamin B3 will help to prevent one of the most treatable forms of skin cancer from coming back. In a recent Facebook post, Tawny Willoughby posted pictures of scars on her face from a recent treatment of her basal and squamous cell skin cancers. An Australian study found 300 patients, or followed 300 patients, who had non-melanoma skin cancer for this research.
Well, one group was given a type of vitamin B3 called nicotinamide for 1 year and the other a placebo. Now, the group taking the vitamin B3 saw a 23% reduction in reoccurrence.
Well, North Korea says it has test-fired a new secret ballistic missile from a submarine. South Korea confirmed the test firing, and the U.S. says that it is aware of the test and says that it would be a clear violation of multiple UN security resolutions. The Wall Street Journal reported that the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un oversaw the whole thing.
Now, continuing with the ongoing conflict in Yemen from Saudi Arabia, as Yemen's capital, Sana'a, was struck with a missile hitting the home of former deposed President Ali Abdullah Saleh. Now, as cameramen and others hurried to flee the area, fearing that another strike would occur soon, and it did. Now, witnesses reported hearing 3 such explosions at the former president's home.
One cameraman, Ahmed Yahya, was thankful to be alive, but fears some of the other journalists were injured. These latest strikes come on the heels of a recently accepted 5-day humanitarian ceasefire by Yemen's dominant Houthi group proposed by its adversary, Saudi Arabia. That ceasefire is set to begin soon, and that will let in much needed food, aid, and other relief supplies. This is much needed after weeks of airstrikes that has left Yemen in the wake of a humanitarian crisis.
Now, lastly, we have a video here, and what this is going to show you, Katan, is a car bomb, and just imagine what it would be like in your neighborhood, this thing going off, and this is actually in Syria taking place.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
Wow, the ways of war are definitely detrimental.
Well, continuing with our coverage on the planned wars of the Middle East, YPN's Larry McGee has our story on the Pope and the disenchanted flock, which is losing interest in its leadership. Larry, what maneuvers are we seeing now from the Vatican?
The papacy, in its activities in the land regarded by many as holy, took a public leap forward this week after the Vatican gave its official stamp of approval to Palestinian statehood despite Israeli objections. The papal recognition, which came as a result of a new treaty signed by the two nations, contains agreements concerning Catholic endeavors in the Palestinian-held areas of the land regarded as holy, with the treaty's stated aim being to enhance the life and activities of the Catholic Church and to strengthen its recognition at the judicial level. While the Catholic Church appears to be having some success at forcing some under its umbrella, it is also bleeding losses a lot faster than it's receiving gains. This week, in open defiance to the papal prohibition against the mentioning or use of the Creator's name, worldwide televangelist Pat Robertson joined the gathering and increasing numbers of individuals who acknowledge and insist that the true name of the Creator is Yahweh. In an open forum, Robertson stated, "The Lord, the Lord, the Lord." That's the translation, but that is wrong. The Lord is not the translation. It is Yahweh. That is his name. It is he who causes to be. The same discontent and rejection of Catholic doctrine is also causing problems elsewhere, as Catholic students are beginning to revolt, choosing literally not to listen to one of Catholicism's most established leaders. The students of Lemoyne in New York State petitioned their school's administration to disinvite the Archbishop of New York, Timothy Dolan, as the commencement speaker at their graduation. Catholic apologists say the students' behavior is probably connected to a sex abuse scandal which occurred during the Cardinal's reign as Archbishop in Milwaukee. But students say that the Vatican recognized an authorized teacher of Catholicism simply does not represent their values. Finally, the great falling away from Catholicism in the Vatican is not just a matter of televangelists and discontented students, but according to a report recently released by the Pew Research Center, the turn away from Catholicism is widespread, encompassing every sector of our society. Pew Research spokesman Alan Cooperman says the important thing for people to realize is that the great decline is taking place not just in the big cities or the Northeast, but every region of the country, including the Bible Belt, among men as well as women, among blacks, Latinos, and whites, among older people and younger people, and among people with college degrees, as well as those with only a high school degree. Over the last 7 years, the number of Americans who identify themselves as unaffiliated with the religious organization has grown by 20 million. And at present, for every one person converted to Christianity, 4 are jumping ship. Statistics show that 85% of American adults were raised Christian, but today approximately a quarter of them have lost their religion, abandoned the cross, and are disinclined to have anything to do with the ancient Coptic paganism of Christianity anymore. For YPN News, I'm Larry McGee. Katan Jeff, back to you.
Well, chaotic weather, people leaving the Catholic Church, sick animals, to wars, and everything leading to more wars. It's no wonder why our world seems to be crying out for a solution along with all its inhabitants. Yisrael Hawkins and the House of Yahweh has the peaceful solution that will stop all wars. All you need to do is contact the House of Yahweh to find out what you can do, and when you do, ask for a free copy of the monthly newsletter and the Prophetic Word magazine. Here's how you can get moving in the right direction.
You can contact the House of Yahweh by writing them at the House of Yahweh, P.O. Box 2498, Abilene, Texas 79604. You can call them at 1-800-613-9494. Visit them on any of their websites, www.yahweh.com, www.yisraelhawkins.com, or www.yahwehsbranch.com. Now, you can also email them at info@yahweh.com, and for any calls outside the United States, please call the number on your screen.
Well, don't go anywhere. Up next, the one who is authorized to bring the message of peace, Yisrael Hawkins. From all of us here at YPN News, I'm Katan Alexander.
And I'm Jeffrey Hemmerman.
Thank you for watching.